Hi everybody, welcome to a new video and a new week at Oxford. I tried to start this vlog yesterday on Monday as is typical. However, yesterday was just like really dull and there wasn't much to show because in the morning I had a lie-in recovering from going into London all weekend, and then I just kind of worked at home and did stuff, so just not that much to show. But yeah, hopefully today will be moderately more exciting. Again, I don't have anything like on the docket, but I'm gonna be going around a bit, so there should be like a bit more to share. I'm wearing the ladybug earrings that I got this past weekend. We have some nice weather again, so I am very happy with my little spring summery outfit because I think it's gonna be hot today. And I'm planning on going to a library, and the libraries here are really hot because no AC, and UK buildings are just like quite warm. I don't know why they don't do AC actually. I feel that they should. I mean, I guess they'd use it for less of the year. And British people seem to always be cold, so. So I also wanted to share a book with you guys, or two books, one volume. And I feel that what I'm about to say next is going to send traditional medievalists over the edge. However, it's also kind of my life mission to not let them know peace, so we're just gonna carry on with it. But basically, as I was sort of like rereading text to decide what I wanted to use as my primary literary text for my dissertation, I was rereading the last two books of Le Morte d'Arthur and like one of the other episodes and everything that my supervisor had recommended. And now Le Morte d'Arthur is like beefy, and it's obviously Middle English. Like it takes a while to get through, and obviously like Middle English is just harder to read than contemporary English. Shocker. So like if you're wanting to read like the most like quote unquote industry standard edition, like in the original language and everything, like no sort of modernization, or just like a more, yeah, like the thing that you would use to quote in your actual paper. Probably gonna look at the PJC Field version, which like is two very massive volumes, and yeah, is like original spelling and everything. But I was like, okay, so I'm just kind of like reading this for the story right now. If I choose to use Le Morte d'Arthur, I'll obviously like go back and read that version, or, you know, like other editions that are kind of like just like better critical editions. But I was going for speed and just like getting the gist of the story at the time. So I just went to the Pembroke Library and I found this Penguin's Classics edition, which is by, this doesn't even say who edited this. Edited by Janet Cohen. And this is from 1969. It's a two volumes of Le Morte d'Arthur. And it is in modernized spelling, and for the most part, and like modernized language. So yeah, again, probably not what you're gonna read, but it's almost the more like classic and like a classical kind of prose style. So it's like when you read a book that's like, okay, this sounds old, but like not medieval old, you know what I mean? So definitely not one that I would like recommend if you're wanting like the most accurate edition or translation of Le Morte d'Arthur. But if you're just kind of like, if you're interested in Arthurian literature and medieval literature and you're wanting to read kind of like more canonical of the period, like the classic works, but you don't really need to read it in the Middle English, like you're just kind of like doing it for fun, because like don't struggle through the Middle English if you don't have to. Like if you're not doing it for school or like for academic purposes, if it's just kind of like for your pure enjoyment and you don't really care that much about having like the exposure to the Middle English. Also, I don't know if like Le Morte d'Arthur is where I would start if you're looking to like gain exposure to the Middle English, because like, yeah, I mean, maybe because it's a story that like you'll probably kind of know the gist of. Like you'll know a lot of the big events of like the life of Arthur, I guess. So maybe it's a good one. However, it's just like so long and so dense that like I don't know that it's where I would start if you're looking to like just start with Middle English. But I do think that this is a good one, yeah, for if you're just like, I want to read more of the Arthurian canon. I love fantasy Arthurian retellings. I'm interested in like the legends and I want to read more from the period. I think for that purposes, this isn't like a bad addition for that. And for my purposes, which is just like trying to reread something that like rereading something I'd already read in a more scholarly, like original language sort of edition, and just rereading it and to get like a sense of the narrative and if it would like suit sort of my purposes and what I wanted to explore, this worked quite well. So traditionalists can like unearmuff now. But yeah, I thought that was like maybe worth sharing and somewhat interesting. And I'm done with this and I'm not doing Lamort to Arthur, so I'm probably gonna return these to the library today or at some point soon because I need to. But yeah, just thought I would share that. That's my little recommendation. Hi guys, so yesterday turned into a bit of a whirlwind. I was working at home and then I went to college and I went to the MCR, which was like insanely busy. So oh no, I went to the Independent Cafe and then to the MCR. Definitely got more work done at Independent Cafe than I did at MCR because there were so many people there. Which usually, like, there's a few, but it was, like, really crowded yesterday for whatever reason. But yeah, today I think I'm going to go to the Pembroke Library. Hopefully I can get a seat in the library. And then I'm hoping to get to the welfare brunch this evening, actually. So there was supposed to be Pembroke Book Club today, but it got canceled because there's not that many people doing it this year, and 2 of them can't make it, so we won't be able to do that. Actually, I can't do welfare brunch because I think they're doing an exchange with it today. That's why the other people can't make it to book club. But for book club, we're reading an Edward Said. I think that's how you say his last name. It's spelt like said, I think, so I'm not sure because I haven't heard it said out loud before. But I'm like not super excited about it, honestly, just because like I've wanted to read his work for a while, so in that sense I'm excited about it. But we chose like it's an essay collection, and I'm not really sure why people were so gung-ho to read an essay collection when, like, I mean, everybody that is in book club is in social sciences or humanities, so I know for myself I spend all day reading essays or writing essays. So for my like fun little book club reading, I don't really want to read more essays. And we do always tend to pick things with that have like a lot of like academic or kind of like that type of literary analysis, which is fine, but like, and good, and it's good for book club, but it's like also not super fun. As like someone who's doing literary studies, it's not necessarily then like a break from what I'm already doing, except that it's obviously on like very different subjects than medieval literature. So in that sense it is. But yeah, I'm hoping that it'll be good, entertaining at least, or like that I'll enjoy the text. We'll see. Yeah, I definitely would be more excited if it was fiction again, but I was outvoted, so we're doing an essay collection. But yeah, anyway, we won't have our meeting tonight, but we will usually be doing it on Wednesdays this term, so we'll see. Also wanted to share this cute dress from Abercrombie. It's got a very voluminous bubble hem, which makes it fun. It reminds me of the Pretty Woman dress that she wears to polo. It's not really shaped like it at all, but it's polka dots, so close enough. But makes me happy. Hi guys, so last night after working at Pembroke, I actually met Chloe at Head of the River for a pint, which was really nice after being holed up reading essays all day, so that was good. But yeah, today is a bit random because I'm going back into London because the Canadian Roads people got invited to like a dinner at Canada House, basically to like, it's like the High Commissioner of Canada's there, so we're gonna have like a tour and lunch, so like yeah, kind of random, but Should be fun. I'm gonna go in a bit early because it's near Covent Garden, so I'm just gonna like wander around a little bit, see some, you know, might as well since I have to like pay for the ticket into London anyway. So yeah, just gonna do that, do a bit of exploring around that area, and then go to Canada House. I'm very like, wasp today, I think. This is not gonna be pretty to eat, but guys, so it's the next day now. I guess just to like recap yesterday, I had, like you'd seen, gone into London like a bit early because I was like, might as well bebop around Covent Garden if I'm going in anyway for a bit. So I went in like around 1-ish, so got there around 2-ish. And I went to Covent Garden because there was this like pastry that I really wanted to try. I mean, Canada House is like near Covent Garden, but I was like, since I'm there, there's this pastry I want to try. So it's from Dolce Vita. I think it's how you pronounce Vita. It's V-Y-T-A. In Covent Garden, there's a Vita restaurant. So it's like Italian food and you can actually like sit down and eat there. It looks really nice. I've never eaten there, but it looks nice. But then if you like go along like the side, beside the restaurant, there's this like teeny tiny little like you just walk up bakery. And these are the only kinds of pastries they do. I should have taken a picture, but I forget the actual name of them, but I assume they're like an Italian thing. So it's almost just like a bun, but the bun is like a bit sweet, like a bread style bun. And then it's filled with chantilly, I think that's how you say it, cream, like full of it. And then they dip it in, you pick your flavor. So I got pistachio, so they dip it in like a pistachio cream and then put pistachios on it and then put it in this really nice box. So I got that. Not the cleanest thing, or like not the, you know, kind of messy to eat out in public. Probably better to just get it on your way home and then eat it there. But I feel like I actually did pretty good. Wasn't as messy as I thought it was going to be. But it was really, really good. I think the one I got, the bread was maybe like slightly stale on mine, but like the cream made up for it. So it was really, really good. And then I wandered around Covent Garden for a bit, and then I went back to Cecil's Court, which is this little street right near Covent Garden that has all of these old booksellers. So most of the shops like each have their own specialization and everything, but they are primarily dealing in like antique and like rare books. So there's a couple, like one really specializes in Alice in Wonderland, so you could like see it was called Alice Through the Looking Glass, I think. And they do mostly, they have a lot of different Alice in Wonderland stuff, but they also have some other books. And then the one right next to it is called Marchpane, and they also specialize more in like children's literature. That was actually last year. I got my mom a copy of Black Beauty from there. I wanted to get, I was like, maybe they'll have the Black Stallion, but they didn't. So I'd gotten her a copy of Black Beauty, which is really cool. And then you can go through. I'd like to get a copy of Peter Pan from there. Maybe before I go, we'll see. I feel like that would be like a cool kind of souvenir. But yeah, a lot of like rare stuff. Like one of the stores had a first edition of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which was cool. Some of them, one of them, that same store that had that book, they kind of seem to have like more new releases, but like special editions and signed editions of new releases, so that was quite cool. And then I still had time to kill, so I wound up just going into the National Portrait Gallery, which, yeah, cool museum, really nice location. If you aren't into like British history at all, or even like one level is more recent stuff, so kind of like sort of pop culture based, and also, yeah, history as well. It's probably not going to be your jam, but like they have a whole Tudor wing, which is quite cool. So you can see a lot of like Henry VIII's wives and stuff. They have a portrait of Anne Boleyn and like Jane Seymour and everything. So those ones are quite cool. But yeah, if you're like not into that kind of thing, probably not the museum for you, because like it is literally just like a bunch of paintings and portraits of people and photographs, as it's very aptly named. But yeah, kind of cool. Not like one where you're like gonna spend hours in there, but it is a cool spot. And then the National Gallery is right attached to it. And then we went to Canada House, had a really nice dinner with the High Commissioner of Canada. I guess it used to be like a tradition that the Canadian roads would go do that, and they hadn't done it for a while, so someone had kind of like organized to restart it. And it was a really, really good dinner. 10 out of 10. I don't know if I got a video of it, but I definitely got a photo, so if I didn't get a video, I'll put the photo here. The starter was like a watermelon salad, so it was like watermelon with feta, but they cut the watermelon into the shape of a maple leaf, which I thought was very cute. But yeah, it was a really, really good dinner, so that was fun. And then we all just kind of like went and hung out at a pub for a bit after. A few of them were like gonna go to like a speakeasy club kind of thing, but I was quite tired and I was like, I have stuff to do tomorrow. So me and one of the other girls who also needed to be in lab by like 9 the next morning, headed back together on the train at night. So yeah, it was quite good. Today I've just been getting some stuff done here. I wanted to leave a bit earlier, but I had to call my bank and I was on the phone with them for a very long time. So mostly just on hold as they were typing away on stuff, but got everything sorted, so it's fine, and can check that off my list. But yes, probably gonna go head out and do some more work, basically. Yeah. Hi guys, so as you've seen today, I've just kind of been doing some stuff around home, nothing too exciting. But basically at the MCR we're gonna do a Eurovision watch party because it's the final. So I'm just heading over to set up now. I watched Eurovision like really for the first time yesterday. It's very weird. It is, I feel that Will Ferrell movie is pretty accurate. So it's not really like my thing, but I know people here get very into it. So last year the watch party was fun, so hopefully it's good this year as well. Sorry guys, just ignore my clothes that I have drying up there, but it is Sunday now, and the weekend has been very, very boring. I have not done much of anything. I was gonna go for brunch with Anika this morning, but I just felt kind of like slightly nauseous the other day because I don't know why, or this morning. I feel fine now, but yeah, this morning I was just like, I don't know if I should like go out to like eat. Yeah, I wound up skipping that, so we'll maybe do that again later in the week. Tonight I am going to go to our second dessert because we have hustings, which is basically like where people like put forward if they want to be on committee next year. I've yet to find anybody who wants to do social sec. I think that like they do a very bad job of selling it because like even in our committee position descriptions, they write, oh, this one's probably the most work, which they probably shouldn't do. And if you get 2 to 3 people, it's not that bad. Like me and Chloe, I feel like manage most of it together pretty well. And then May, because she's not like here, she's like working somewhere else. She just kind of like has helped out where she could, which worked fine for us. So like, yeah, like 2 people, it's fine. 3 people is even better. So if you can get that much, like it's okay. There are a few jobs that like do suck. Chloe, I think, did the most stressful one, which is seating plans and stuff. So she managed that this year for the banquets, because that's just like a lot to coordinate. But she did a really good job with it. So yeah, I'm trying to peer pressure someone into being social sec, like how I was peer pressured into being social sec, which I'm glad that I wound up doing it. But yeah, we'll have to figure that out. But this weekend I did do something. I finished Avenging Angel, Back in the Saddle. It's really like messing up, but this is a martini glass. By Kristen Ashley, because I got the arc of the 3rd book in the series the other day and I hadn't read book 2 yet. Because this one came out, I think, in like December-ish, so I was quite busy with applications and essays. And these are books that like you can read as standalones, but are more fun to read in order because A, it helps you like keep track of their case of like what's going on. Like each individual book is its own kind of case because these are like romances with like a mystery subplot. And I really enjoyed book 2. I was really looking forward to it from the blurb that I had at the end of book 1. And this series is sort of like, it's like a spin-off of Kristen Ashley's probably most popular, like most well-known series, which is the Rock Chick books, which are older. Like they came out in early to mid 2000s, like 2010s-ish, and I really enjoy those books. I haven't read all of them. I read most of the, like all of the earlier ones, but as the series went on, I kind of didn't like it as much because there got to be like a lot of in-universe jokes. Like I just irritated me when there would be a new woman come in that was like the main character of the book, and then all the previous women would just like explain how her relationship was gonna go, even though like they don't know this woman or the guy that well, so, but they would just be like, this is how it goes with these men, and they'd like call themselves the Rock Chicks, and they'd call the other guys like the Hot Bunch, which I was like, this is a bit, these people are in their 30s, come on. So it just like, I think it's cute like when like if we like the fans of the book had just called them that, which like I think is what it was, and then it came into the books, but like it was just too wink wink nudge nudge at themselves in the book, and I was annoyed at the meddling and like the explaining, here's how this relationship is gonna work out. And that's why the Dreamcatcher series, which is also like sort of a spin-off, that one is about all of the strippers at this one club who kind of pair up with like Mace's commando guys, not Mace, Hawk's commando guys from so it's like a crossover between the Rock Chick books and the Dream Man series, because Hawk is in that one. He's like got basically just like a crew of vigilantes, basically. They're kind of like private investigators, but with like uber special skills. And same with the Nightingale guys. And in this book, the guys are like an extension of Nightingale Investigations, which is the PI firm that all the guys are part of in the Rock Chick books. But anyway, I'm digressing a little bit. So it's like a spin-off of a spin-off. But I think that those kind of like in-universe jokes that bothered me in the later books in the Rock Chick series aren't really as much of a thing in the Avenging Angels. Like they're there, but I think that this series is more kind of like, I think it's like doing, it's like doing the same kind of like wink wink thing, but it's just like comes off better to me, I guess. Like it feels like more of a joke. Like it almost feels like a bit campier, especially because like you just kind of have to suspend your disbelief with this, because basically the women are like Charlie's Angels, literally. Like, they have this mysterious rich benefactor that gives them cases and gives them all these gadgets to go be PIs, which does occasionally get annoying, that they're like, we are as qualified to do this work as the people, as the men who are like all trained in like special forces, FBI, have trained for like years to be part of this team, and the women are just like, why don't they want us to be involved with like gangsters and stuff? It's so irritating, and like them trying to keep us out of it is misogyny. And I'm like, or perhaps random citizens who are waitresses and have no training should not be getting involved in murder investigations. So in that sense, yes, you have to suspend your disbelief on that, especially because like, oh, they have this rich guy, and the like investigations crew, like all the PI guys are like so skilled, they can find anyone, but they can't figure out who this guy is. But like, it's okay, he seems chill, so they just like let him go about it. It's like, it falls apart if you think about it too hard, but it is also like just fun, so you just have to like go along for the ride. So if you can do that, really fun series. And like this one, I really enjoyed the couple. Eric is like one of the OG guys. He has like a brief cameo in Mace and Stella's book in the Rock Chick series, which is one of my favorite books in that series, because he's like a guy that Stella had briefly dated when her and Mace had initially broken up. And you didn't like see him until the end when he showed up, because you found out he was like an FBI agent who was kind of like observing them, but he'd had like actual feelings for Stella, but like not that strong. And then he joins the Nightingale investigations team and everything, and it's all chill. But then he gets with Jessie, who's one of like the new girls in Phoenix. And they're really cute together. Like, I will say, like, Jess's need to come off as edgy can get a little bit tedious. Like, I think that if anyone has to describe themselves as edgy, they're not that edgy. Other than that, I think it worked, and she's not an annoying character, definitely. And, like, the book is, like, so fast-paced that none of that really lingers. Eric and Jess were just, like, a really fun couple. I feel like in this book, it's more of in these series, they're more of like they're both just like into each other kind of from the start of the book, and are like willing to admit it, which is something that like in the Rock Chick books, the women are like resisting it up until the end. But in these ones, people are kind of like more all in. Their relationships are like a bit more evolved. And yeah, they're just like fun books. So in this one, Jess's brother, who suffers like from some mental health issues, she believes is living on the streets. So she's been trying to look for him for months, and the guys kind of know, and Eric like steps in because she's going around to like encampments of homeless people like really late at night, and he's like, this is dangerous and stupid, so maybe you shouldn't do that. And then she gets like the other girls involved in everything. She hadn't told them about it before. And so they all get involved in, like, trying to find her brother, and then they find out that, like, in the process of doing that, they find out that someone has been, like, kidnapping homeless people, and then they're just going missing, and people don't know what is being done to them. So they get involved in, like, trying to suss out that situation, as do all of the actual, like, trained PIs and everything. But it's like a race to find who will figure it out first, and they sort of work together, sort of don't. But it is very fun. The Charlie's Angel shtick is like, it's cute. It works. And the romance is really sweet. This one, like, it is sort of like an age gap, but not really. Like I think in a lot of the promo, they were saying, oh, this is like a bit of an age gap book, which like it is. She's 33 and he's 40, I think. But they literally mention that like once at the beginning of the book and never again. Like, it's never an issue. It's never something that's brought up by them or any of the characters, because like, for the sake of this isn't like a significant age gap. They're kind of in like similar stages of life and everything, and like she's grown, she's 30 something. It's not that big of a deal, but that is like, but because it's like he's like one of the OG guys, they just kind of like have to address that. Really enjoyed this one, and I started the third book, which is Tenderfoot, and I think that one's gonna be my favorite in the series. That one is Harlow's book, and Javier, and he's like, it really reminds me of Carissa and Joker's book, which is it Break Free? I never remember the name of it, but it's in the Chaos series, and it's one of my favorite books in that series. That couple really reminds me of them, and that's one of my favorite Chris and Ashley books. So I really like their dynamic, and I really like Harlow because I feel like she has her head screwed on the straightest about the Avenging Angel stuff. Like, a couple of them take it extremely seriously, and Harlow's like, I take this seriously, but also when people are like turning up dead, let's get the people who know what they're doing involved, which, like, she just seems very legit. Like, she's not taking unnecessary crazy risks, but she's still tough and, like, stands her ground. But she's the one that's, like, extremely girly and that people kind of, like, underestimate or talk down to a little bit. So having that arc for her in this one where she's like, can you guys take me seriously, please? I am a grown woman. Like, I'm not stupid. I just enjoy wearing pink flouncy skirts. And everyone's like, fair enough point. But Javier, like, never treats her like that, like, never talks down to her or anything. One thing that kind of threw me off at first, like, because it's not something that he's explained yet, but he sometimes calls her Lolita, which would ick me out, but it's not an age gap at all. Like, he's a year or two older than her, I think, and, like, they don't have any sort of power dynamic in their relationship at all. And it's not that he, like, views her as, like, girlish and, like, young and anything. Like, it's not, there's nothing else that's, like, icky about their relationship. So then him, like, giving her that nickname doesn't have, like, the, like, ooh, like, I can't read this because that's gross kind of thing. But it does, like, I mean, it's Lolita, so you're kind of like, because there's none of that other context around it, it doesn't, like, ick you out so much that you can't read it or that it, like, ruins the relationship or anything. But, like, it was an interesting choice. I don't know if it's, like, maybe it means something in Spanish. I don't know, because that's a Spanish character. I should Google that. Like, what are the non-Lolita connotations of Lolita? I feel like that's actually explained in Lolita, why he calls him that. But I thought it was, like, something that he'd made up himself, not, like, something that was an actual sort of thing. Anyway, that was the only thing that's thrown me off about that one so far, but it honestly doesn't come up very often. That's not, like, he's not constantly calling her that. And yeah, because there's not the other, like, grossness around it. It's okay, I guess. It's okay. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that one so far because I like that one. Like, there's less of a personal connection for them to the case that they're working. And so that's kind of, like, a bit interesting too, because, like, then Harlow, they have their other stuff going on, Harlow and Javier, so then the case is kind of, like, in the periphery, but also, like, something that they're both, like, engaged in and that is, like, influencing the development of their relationship, but it's not something that they, like, are super angsty about all the time because there's other stuff going on, which is what I like in, like, a kind of, like, romance novel mystery, like, this kind of genre, which is, like, something that's, like, very specific to Chris and Ashley. I don't know, it's not, like, a full-on romance mystery, it's just, like, very her. So if you've read any of her books, you might get that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's definitely gonna be, like, my favorite of the three so far, I think. Although I'm loving the little teasers for Nox and Luna. Hi guys, so I realized I forgot to actually end this video, but yeah, nothing else exciting happened tonight other than second dessert and hustings, which is basically where we, like, see if anybody wants to run for committee stuff again. So no one was wanting to run for social sec, but I think I've convinced one, maybe two to take it over next year, so hopefully that one gets filled, because it is, like, legitimately an important one. Really, we just need, like, president, treasurer, and social secs, and, like, yeah, that's kind of the big three. But yeah, so hopefully someone is gonna take it over before we run, but yeah, should be okay, hopefully. I think we've got some recruits. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end the video here, say goodbye, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next video.